Hi, welcome back to my history channel. This time history is a little more modern. I did my Epstein files homework and I'm really glad because now I'm looking at Kentucky because Thomas Massey impressive, and I've always loved Senator Kennedy. So I thought, well, I'll have to look up, my dad's gang and the other gang member from the Warlock gang who raped me as a child and see if they're in there, because I had suspected they would be, because when gangs have things in common, like trafficking meth and children, they tend to link up. Yep. I had an FBI agent who I had spoken with giving a statement when the Hells Angels president up in Evelyn, Minnesota, 4 of them and the president were arrested for kidnapping and rape. And Dan Messer goes, because some of my uncles are Hells Angels and my dad is Warlock, and I just combine them together because they're like lattice work. And Dan Messer, this shitty FBI agent, says to me, "You can't be in 2 gangs. People are only in 1 gang. What kind of vest did he wear? Was he wearing a vest?" And I'm like, you are such a piece of shit, and so is everybody in the FBI like you. If you don't know your job, if you can't understand like history and experience and what should be most combated, like child rape, maybe not so much drugs. Maybe drugs aren't that important when there's so much child rape, So anyway, that was Dan Messer, and what like half of the FBI agents I've met are like absolute fucking trash. So, so Warlock, and then the EFTA number, that's just the like coding number or file number. So Thomas Massey wanted people to submit what was redacted because tomorrow he is going to be able to read the unredacted versions, and he was taking requests, and it was so perfect because I had happened to call him this morning and give the same whistleblower statement I gave Dan Crenshaw, although briefer because it was in a voicemail. So I was like, great. And then I was like, well, I called him, so I'm gonna have to follow up, and I'm happy to do so. And so yeah, I did call my dad. He didn't want to make a statement. I do treat him like a child because his brain is like childlike, which is why I'm pretty sure I think it's one of the reasons the police aren't arresting him. They still should, and then let the court decide whether he is unfit to face trial because he is mentally retarded. So very childlike. I asked my dad, I said, "Dad, you wanna comment on your gang being in the Epstein files?" And he goes, "No." Okay, well, if you can leave a voicemail if you want to comment on it. Okay, that's what he said. Anyway, my family is gonna be mad at me, but I have always cared about my fellow Americans more than my family. Even though I'm still glad that I, talked to my mom and my brother. I'm pretty sure my dad probably went through the same gang grooming because it's a multi-generational gang. So the reality is, with what's going on right now, is a lot of the perpetrators have been victims. That's not to excuse it, but if you don't get the root of the problem, you're not going to solve the problem. So that is all. A lot with Warlocks, a lot with Warlock gang members. My printer was going to run out of ink, so for the Warlock search, one of them brought up, these are handwritten interviews, by the way. This is interesting. I'll show you this. So these are not emails. This is an FBI agent following leads, of which there were over 60. So I'll hold it up. Some of them are blank. And what's true in most gang scenarios is retaliation, and there's no support for victims or witnesses coming forward. So it's interesting. This one just says she has a lawyer. It doesn't say if they were a victim, how they knew him, when did they meet him, where did they meet him, how old were they when they met him, if it pertains to the victim. And this lady lawyered up. She said she had a lawyer. And then it's all kinds of interviews. And then somewhere in here, the Warlock is mentioned. So I haven't read through all these. I read through some of the ones I'm going to reference. I just did this. Okay, so this is lead number 67, hotline tracker worksheet. I never got notice there was a hotline victims could call. That's so interesting. It's a nationwide international sex trafficking ring, and only some people were valid enough to be able to call this hotline. Okay, this was 2019, July 10th, 2019. 2116 has left V/M C/B at 2:30, military time at 21:30 on July 10th, 2019. Anyway, redacted. How do they know him? And it doesn't say whether or not they're a victim. A lot of the times, victims don't know. That's what grooming does to you. Okay, how did they know him? A girl named Blah, she was a ballerina and looked out for younger girls for Jeffrey Epstein. And there's another initial there. And this woman said she was 37, or it's 37 question mark. And this is what's really pissing me off, because a lot of these FBI agents are writing no useful information. That's actually not up to you to decide, really, if it's useful or not. You don't think that just the fact that she was a ballerina is interesting, that's a specific group of girls who are made to order because it's a sex trafficking ring? Like, Jesus. And I can get these FBI people's frustrations. They're looking for straight answers, but that's not what it is. It's expansive. It's centuries old, actually. And, God, you can just tell some of them have no background knowledge at all on the topic. Okay. Lead number 69, follow-up required. Caller alleges, a lot of abbreviations, her daughter may have been raped by her father. All something to Jeffrey Epstein. Yep. That's also because of, loyalty and Stockholm syndrome. That is, I think I'm going to find, maybe I'll search raped by father another time. Anyway, I'm going to not go through all these right now, and I'm putting them out of order, which will drive me crazy later. 69 or 68. 66. Oh. I feel like the printer just didn't print 68. Well, anyway, I'm going to do that later because I did Warlock. I searched a couple of the gang members' nicknames. Caveman is one of them. Scott Sowers, that was the Warlock with the swastika on his left hand that I was trafficked by as a small child. And a teenager and in my early 20s. That's, yeah, what the police have had that. Duluth PD has had that report since 2016. The Fed has had it sooner, if not absolutely since 2021, when Veterans for Child Rescue took my statement on my life experience. So, comedic break. Oh, wait. Okay. Man. Oh, the Warlocks' names that were tantamount were Boodan, Boodan. This is the one I referenced for Tom Massey to look at, and Miserable George. And they talked about docking at Disney. And I think it was the victim was hearing a bunch of Disney music while she was being rape trafficked. And Miserable George, there might have been something about little girls in that one. The victim, though, and this is something I would say too, because it's a part of grooming. She said at times she was treated very respectfully by these men. Is what she said. When they weren't raping her, they were very supportive. Okay, so these are common Hell's Angels terms: old lady, old man. I didn't look up that. The lesser of a few evils, you know. The first time I heard my dad, the only time I heard him speak German, he just said "Ich bin ich," which I think means "is this it?" I don't remember. I wrote that in my whistleblower form to Dan Crenshaw. I didn't look up my uncle, Mark Benjamin Wolf Briscoe. Oh no, I think it's just Mark Benjamin Briscoe. My cousin's name is Madeline Wolf Briscoe, and their family lineage is the oldest Jewish law firm in America, based out of Philadelphia, Wolf Law Firm. I didn't look up that yet, and then I didn't actually look up Scott Sowers yet. Again, I'm out of ink, so I want to make sure I'm printing what I'm talking about, so I have the paper copy. Here's some more names, though, because I got lucky. A lot of the names weren't redacted. So Paul Weiderman, they were talking about exercise. So the caveman thing actually was a reference to exercise, not a person so far. I didn't go through everything. And then, because in 1998, when I was 8 years old, we had a ton of bullfrogs. Like, I was like, Dad, what are you doing in the garage with all these frogs? So many frogs. I mean, hundreds of frogs. And there was actually a flood in northern Minnesota around that year. And because of the chemical waste up north, it's a literal mine. Most of the iron ore from World War I and World War II came out of northern Minnesota, called the Iron Range. And in 1998, when I was living up there, there was this flood. And I was in Eveleth, my parents were separated, and I remember seeing frogs with two heads, and it's in the news, you can look it up, snakes with two heads. And so I had to look up frogs, and you know, the science theme really cannot be ignored. I was actually really proud of myself because I was watching a video of Jeffrey Epstein talking about math. Because remember, he was a math teacher first. It's one of his first jobs. And he's talking about when you do 1 divided by 0. And I'm just getting back into math. And so I get so proud of myself when I remember what I aced in high school, but had a hard time getting back to as an adult. I was like, undefined. And then he goes, and you know, and some, you know, people do 1 divided by 0 and they say that's undefined, but you know, can a number be undefined? What's the math, you know, when we get into like esoteric quantum physics, inverse numbers, because I was talking about Bayes' theorem literally in this past video, because it's a part of my inquiry and accusation in the English Royal Society of Science. And Bayes' theorem, it's just an economic probability calculus that has a lot of like inverse in it. And I'm not quite in my understanding of that kind of calculus yet, so I can't say anything else. But I love undefined numbers. So sorry to have something in common with Jeffrey Epstein, but it's something that the point is driven even further. Because when I brought up frogs, yep, 297 results for frogs. And boy, do these fellas love talking about frogs. So we're going to get into it. This is for comedic relief. I'm going to save that one. It's the funniest one. Nothing. I'll get it to it in a second. Okay. Oh, and then frog is also a person. Frog is also a person who's referenced a lot. Good friend. They went to funerals together. Yeah. So I'm actually going to start with this one. This was the first one I printed for frog, and it is from Eric Roth, Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Jeffrey, for very rough budgetary purposes, I believe you could use similar numbers to what we provided you 2 years ago for BBJ 30884, which I'm pretty sure it's a plane. There's some context clues. The reality is you will never want to just simply recover what is there. You and I will look at most of my area. He uses an equal sign a lot. A lot of these people use equal signs in their words. Plating somewhere between 3.75 million to 5 million. If you were to get your friendly frogs dressed in gold corduroy from across the pond involved, add another 1 million plus for the, oh, okay, now that's kind of interesting. If you were to get your friendly frogs dressed in gold corduroy from across the pond involved, add another 1 million plus. Like he's saying he wants to charge the English or the French. Another, okay, so they're funding this plane with him. Or they may be. For additional details and wood that will not make you sad. This does not include entertainment systems, cabin management systems, etc. So it must be a plane. And again, this is just if you search frog, separate frogs. So frog without the S or frog with the S. It's just a little different, again, because somebody's name is Frog. Eric H. Roth, President, 221 South Avenue, Long Island, MacArthur Airport, Rococoma, New York. Anyway, that was that one. I'm going to actually not do the addresses because other people can look them up. And this is something that needs to be handled in court, unless of course you're defending yourself against your own perpetrator, then you do what you're going to do. Okay, back to the interest in frogs. So this was the second one I printed. Okay, so this is saying, it's actually CC'd. So it's the from and to are redacted out. Tuesday, October 19th, 2010. Dear Dawn, I am convinced that Marguliesian symbiosis and Williamsonian hybridogenesis are the most important advancements in the understanding of evolutionary and biology since common descent. All attempts at genetic origins of form have failed, including the hoax gene theory and Turing reaction diffusion. I look forward to applying this body of thought to the unraveling of the origin of form and human morphogenesis. Is vertebrate/human development direct? The irrelevance of the early stages argue against direct development. Is there a vertebrate larval stage in addition to frogs? Your comment on the suddenness of human puberty is worthy of substantial further investigation. These people are crazy about experimentation. And here's the thing, I'm also greatly interested in this topic. I'm going to research it later. Yeah. So I'll probably do another, you know, when I fucking get to it, another video about what the science is. So that'll probably be in a couple years. All right. Maybe not. I've been doing better. This is from, it's so funny, is because there's a lot of mistakes with the redactions, you guys, so feel free to go search it. So this is from Francis Jardine Deuce, Deuss. Hi, how are you, Jeffrey? You will send you the photo of you, Donald, and Sophie. This is 2016, December 23rd, around Christmas time. Thinking of you as I sit here on my beanbag in the early morning light. Love listening to the beetles and frogs chirping in the background. It's been a long time, my friend, since I've been in touch, but just wanted to say how ironic. Thinking about how we used to walk around in your Secret Service sweats and hitch rides with Donald 20 years ago. I don't know who Donald is. What is Mr. Epstein up to these days? You have been on my mind a bit. I'm writing, working on a biography. My life is bliss. Thanks partly to having met you so many years ago. Thank you for all you exposed me to. You are amazing. Seedling Francis, codename Spanx. I did not see that when I printed this. So the seedling, I'm going to assume, is an infant, and that's the biggest issue for me, is the infant rape, and it's really rude that more people aren't focused on that tradition and supporting those victims coming forward. This could also, well, why would she need a code name, you know, if it was just an animal? Seedling Francis, code name Spanx. And again, this is another old friend, Francis Janine Deuce. Code name, oh, this is her. Seedling Francis. I really look forward to everything about this coming out. This is interesting. I'm going to echo what Senator Kennedy said on the, in the Senate last weekend, referring to the sale of the Chagos Islands in 1965. The only thing that can really explain this must be some really good drugs. There must be some really specific drugs. Because the exercise theme, there was a lot on exercise, a lot on yoga, a lot on longevity. There's more. Hold on. Sorry, I'll stay focused, guys. Seedling Kennedy, codename Spanx, target pearly white ass. Wow. I am probably going to talk to a Fed tomorrow and just see if they're available to talk about this. Sometimes they are. Whether or not I can remain calm through the conversation is another issue. Okay, we're just going to go through the frog ones, guys. Thanks for being here. This is from Terry Kafka. He comes up a lot with frog. On May 19th, 2016, subject, sale of impact. Johnny boy, we got the LOI signed and approved with everything I asked for. Jeff, I'm not jumping for joy, but I'm reflecting on how I got there. Okay. When I look back at the defining moments in my life, my first was latching onto you, Warren and Frog. We were the best NBSPs which he says at the bottom means fuck yous. We were the best fuck yous other moments were getting. My first job at Jack Ward Color Service, Renee Gelpy, that exposed me to the advertising world. Then Leo Burnett, Philip Morris, number 8211. All exposing me to the billboard industry. For me, it's been a fun, lucrative ride. Thank you for our friendship, along with We and Frog back in the day. It started me on a great path having fun, not taking life too seriously. Fuck yous, working hard and achieving success. Also seizing opportunity. It wouldn't have happened otherwise. LSO. I love that we started from nothing and ITH nothing. That's the best feeling. Fuck you equal NBST. Okay, no, I don't know what NBST. And the equal, again, they use the equal a lot. Terry B. Kafka, resident Impact Outdoor Advertising Company, Dallas, Texas. March 2014. So I'm pretty sure it's the same Warren because it was coming up a lot. Warren died. So Warren's memorial service, this is Dallas, Texas, same guy, CC'd Mark L. Epstein. Warren's memorial service is Sunday from 11 to 1:30 at the Jewish Community Center. Linda says there will be over 200 people attending. Frog is coming for it. Mark, we will have something in NYC within a month or so. Frog and I will speak. Then we will both do some sort of mime routine of Warren eating a super hot Mrs. Stahl's potato knish. He could never wait for them to cool down, and he got heat pains in the chest. That's our bit. This doesn't say who it's from. The subject is Warren, 2014, January. Frog said the results will be in tomorrow, expected to be bad. I told Warren and Frog, and I'll tell you, everything I've learned in my life, I've learned from you guys. End of story. I'm pretty sure this is also probably Terry Kafka, but this one was redacted. You can see it's, the email's redacted, but then the name isn't. Anyway. So. I said Frog, not neutral on Thursday. I said Frog, not neutral on Thursday. A lot of clandestine speech. Hi, Jeff. This is from Redacted, 2014, March 10. Importance normal. Hi, Jeff. I'm really sick right now with laryngitis and exhausted from a difficult day. A vacant building we have was heavily vandalized. Frog's still here at my house till tomorrow morning. I just want to tell you about it when I get my voice back. In short, it was flawless. I engaged a rabbi type 2, put a Jewish meaning in. He closed with the mourner's Kaddish. I spoke. Frog spoke. Music, slideshow. It was fitting. I rented the auditorium of Jewish Community Center. We had finger sandwiches, desserts, coffee. 175 people came. More when I can talk. Frog as huper as ever. And geez, does he talk. And then Terry Kafka asked, how was it? Maybe not everybody was going to this man's funeral. I don't know. Okay, then I'll end with the comedic one. Again, this is just from the topic Frog. This is from Redacted. The subject is Frog and Toilet. Just a heads up, one of my well-earned shits was interrupted when a tree frog made its way out of the toilet bowl, jumping into my ass cheek as to display its displeasure with my very needed natural event. Yes, I was startled. In an instant, I recalled my shit had never once lunged out of me in a way to disagree with the fairly tedious length of time I sat on one piece of real estate. A splash would be normal, but this didn't follow anything I produced. a shriek, and a quick rise to a vertical lead to the discovery of a surprisingly large tree frog now taking refuge under what is not a lily pad. I'm sorry, little tree frog. I'm so sorry. Getting to the point, the heads up is that I didn't have the heart to flush the frog, and that the frog and the lily pad remain intact. Beware, XOXO. So, we'll end it there. Okay, guys, get them while they're available, you know, because these motherfuckers absolutely would do the worst to not face the reality of what they've been doing. So, thank you.